Okay. All right, here we are. You ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready,
I'm
Kevin?
ready, yeah.
Well, welcome to A. Smith Gallery. This is our gallery talk for the Open Unfiltered exhibition. And Kevin happened to be the juror. It's going to be on the online exhibition will be online until February 16th. And Kevin is going to read his juror statement. You ready?
I am ready. So we should be seeing us, shouldn't we?
Well, you didn't start it that way. Do you want to start all over
here.
again?
Here we go. Now there we are. Okay. All right. Here is my juror statement. I like open calls for entry. They're a bit more challenging and fun to jury. You don't have a specific theme to hang your hat on. It can be challenging to create a cohesive exhibition. Not this time. There was a significant range of creativity and artistic vision. It would seem that this would complicate matters, but no, it made my job easier. It caused me to focus on the creative, conceptual aspects of the work. This also brings a past conversation to mind. I was asked a while back, so how is a straight photograph creative? Good question. And I won't go into the long answer here, but apart from the obvious practical and academic explanations, there's a simpler, more directly visual explanation contained in this group of photographs. Actually, it is contained in an observation, not said, but shown, implied. The straight images, color in black and white, are compelling and are complemented by and a complement to the dreamy composited and processed images. They're not only creative in their own right, but also create something in the mix. I always keep an eye as to how the images would hang together on the walls of an exhibition. This would be a good one. The wonderful mix of imagery in this group of images challenge and tease and court one another. It was a joy contemplating the choices. I want to thank all who entered, especially for your thoughtful curation and conceptualization.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think during an open call is really hard because there's nothing to really hang your hat around. Yeah, and you did a great job.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Hang your head on.
Head on. I knew it didn't sound right.
And I had already said that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, let's get started here. You got to share the screen.
Share the screen. All right, here we go.
So we're going to go through each of the images in the exhibition, and we've asked people to, if they have something to say about their image, to email it to me. So I've got several statements that we're going to be reading. So this first image is by Barbara Dubois. Barbara has two images in this exhibition, and Barbara lives in San Diego, California. And this particular image is called Each Moment is a New Place. So Barbara works on her iPhone and does composites, and she's really, really good at it.
Barbara is incredibly creative.
Absolutely. This is called You Can't Get There From Here, and this image was selected for the 27.
This is also Barbara, right?
Also Barbara, yeah. Yes. All right. So this image is by Bill Pokenhorn. Bill lives in El Centro, California. It's called Navajo Generation Plant, Page, Arizona. I love that dot up there in the corner. The sun. Yeah. The big sun.
Yeah.
So this is an image by Bob Tully, and I promise you, Bob and Kevin are not related.
Well, we don't know that absolutely. So
yeah, your long lost brother. So Bob lives in Santa Monica, California, and Bob got three images in. This particular one, we just talked about not too long ago. This is called, say it for me, Marquis de
Riscal Evening.
So it is a hotel, right? This is a hotel designed by
Frank Gehry.
There you go.
And the reason I chose this is because it not only does it reference the architectural thing, but it also looks like a spaceship about to take off. And the tonality, along with all that, made it a very compelling image.
Yeah, he was staying there. So this is like in the middle of the night when no one's around.
Right.
That's a great image. So this one, I love this one too. This is called Running of the Bulls, San Sebastian. This was selected for the 27. This is Bob's also. And he decided to go and stay in San Sebastian, which is in Spain. Portugal.
I think it was, no, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Might have been
either.
Spain. I think it was Spain.
Yeah. Anyway, he went for like 6 months and he got to stay there and live on the square. And this is one of the images. He had a really great story.
What's so amazing about this is this encapsulates absolutely the phrase good capture. My goodness, you talk about a good capture. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. And Bob's last one is called Second Thoughts.
Beautiful image.
Yeah. And a great title.
Yeah.
Then we have an image by Carl Moore. Carl Moore lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And this is called Bolivar Square. He has a little bit written about here. So you want to read it, Kevin?
He said, multiple exposure made in the camera at Bolivar Square, Bogota, Colombia, September 2022. Carl has done a number of these double exposures that are really, really good, really nice.
Very interesting.
And the way he's toned them is also very nice.
Yeah. This image is by Charlotte Watts. Charlotte has 2 in here. This particular one is called, wait a minute. I'll get it. Okay, it's this one. One thing becomes the other, stoned with willow branches, leaves. So this was chosen for the 27.
It's a beautiful diptych.
And her other one is called Placeholders, wood duck box at the little pond. This is on her property. She lives in Sequim, Washington, and she photographs there all the time.
And there's a lot of mystery to this image. This camera, I guess that is camera movement
I think
in
so,
here.
yeah.
And it's just really well done.
And I like the tonalities too.
Yeah.
This image is by Dave Wilson. He lives right down the road from us in Dripping Springs. This is called Factory Butte Birdorama. Do we know where Factory Butte is?
It's probably in Arizona or New Mexico or Idaho. I'm not sure.
I don't think it's.
But it's a really nice shot. What I liked about this is that it has almost the quality of being produced with colored pencils. It's got a really nice effect.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. This is by Debbie Aiken. Debbie has a couple of images in here. This particular one, the title is called Caving In. Debbie is from somewhere in California, Monterey, California, where it's rained a whole lot. Anyway, she has a whole body of work where she's done this same technique.
What's really interesting is that these are all folds. She printed this on some heavy paper, and then she just very carefully chooses the places to make these folds, and then creates these folds, and it just really transforms the image. Plus, she has a very ecological
I think that's probably
bent to most of this. So
yeah, she wrote about her images.
Here's what she said. Caving In and Falls to Pieces #2 are part of my ongoing project titled Folding and Mending. The hand-folded, burned, and stitched prints in this series are a way of expressing the world folding in on itself. We are so focused on our daily tasks and routines that we are neglecting the environment on which our very survival depends. We have created an imbalance in which our world is collapsing. As record storms and wildfires wreak havoc on our forests and communities, our ecosystems are unraveling at an alarming rate. My hand-manipulated photographs allude to the results. Coastlines erode and submerge as sea levels rise. Trees and forests, stressed from years of drought, succumb to disease and fire. Golden hills crack and crumble, all at the hand of mankind. While large, complex solutions are needed to fix the damage, there are small things that each of us can do to help slow the erosion, clear the air, mend the cracks, and hold our planet together. The stitching in some of my images is a metaphor for the mending and rebuilding we must do to make our world whole again. Thanks for taking time to create this video. You guys rock. I think she was talking about us there. But yeah, this is important work. I mean, this is the kind of work that we all need to see. It's
so that's Caving In. There's one more. This is called Falls to Pieces #2. This one got in the 27.
She just has done such a great job as to where she places the folds, compositionally, the way it all works.
Yeah, it's all very planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. This image is by Diane Poinski. It's called Cascade. And Diane lives in Sacramento, California.
I really like this. It's as an abstract expressionist painter myself, I was drawn to this. It's a painting.
Well,
Right?
it is an iPhone image.
Yeah.
And she's put, I think, multiple exposures together that she does in her iPhone. She does them on her walks every day. So she puts them all together.
Right. This is more minimalist work.
Very minimalist.
Yeah.
This image is by Elizabeth Kale. It's called Coming to Terms. Elizabeth lives in Fort Collins, Colorado.
What attracted me to this is I've seen this particular, I can't remember the name of this red, I don't remember which Indian this is exactly, but I've seen this done, photographed many times, but this is the first time I've seen it from this perspective and done where they've actually done some post-processing and added something to it, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I really like this image. Okay, we have a series of 3 images here. These are by Jacqueline Walters. Jacqueline lives in San Francisco, California. And this first one is called Learning Mandarin and the Language of Lumens, number 532. They're all the same name, they just have different numbers. I'm going to let Kevin go on and read her statement about this project.
And I'll say right off the bat, Jacqueline did a really wonderful job composing these. They're attractive simply because of their well done lumens, but she's really done a nice job of composition here.
So if you don't know what lumens are, they're old expired darkroom paper, and you basically lay something on it and take it out into the sun and expose it. And she scanned these and did not fix them. If you fix them, it all goes away, or it changes. The colors totally change. So she scanned them immediately, and that's what we're looking at in these. Okay, you want to read it?
Learning Mandarin. She's been taking, I think, classes in Mandarin.
Yeah.
Learning Mandarin in the language of lumens. When I began learning Mandarin, little did I realize how it would inform my artistic vision. This became evident when I began to experiment with lumen printing. With the former, I discovered how a seemingly endless permutation of lines, dots, and dashes written within an imaginary square form meaning through simple and complex form. With the latter, my thoughts shifted from acquisition of craft to learning a language. In my lumen prints, instead of ink, I used various biological materials to form bold strokes and elegant lines of whispers and dots and dashes. The imaginary square was transformed into rectangles or other shapes, defining the space. The written language is both a means of communication and the art form that is calligraphy. Just as the defining characteristics of the calligrapher's hand suggest a personality, so to each paper I use reveals a different latent color as if speaking to the personality of the paper. My project, Learning Mandarin in the Language of Lumens, is about learning a process that harkens back to photography's beginning, influenced by the visual poetry and rhythmic grace of an old writing system. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is number 2. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 299. What did I say it was? This is 299. So the next one is, this is 532, Learning Mandarin in the Language of Lumens, number 532.
The other thing that for me that was compelling, I've seen lots and lots of lumens. When I first saw these, they weren't automatically recognizable as lumens because she's done such an artful job of creating works of art.
This one, it's Learning Mandarin in the Language of Lumens, number 230. And this one is in the 27.
Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah. So different papers give you different colors. That's what all these, they all look a little bit different.
Right.
Cool. Thank you. This is by Jamie Hankin. Jamie lives in, where does he live? Kinderhook, New York. So Jamie has a whole series of this body of work. And this particular one is called Celestial number 123. And it's also in the 27. And he has a little statement about this body of work.
It's really interesting how he's created his own little vocabulary of worlds.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what he says. I don't want to be silent when it comes to showing my images in the forum, but neither do I want to jam the entire artist statement into the context of an individual picture. I'm not sure that there's been a picture made in all history that could carry that load. The pictures talk about scale, human scale versus the enormity of the universe versus the microscopic world found in a drop of water or an atom. They speak to me at least about the fringes of knowing, existing without fully understanding the nature of existence. There's also the human need to analogize subjects or analogize objects beyond their understanding into objects that we can reference, like constellations or sacred geometry. It's all about us believing or needing to believe that we are the center of the universe, despite the likelihood that we're not. It's trying to turn that arrogance, for lack of a better word, into wonder or something like that. That's great.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you. Okay, this image is by Jason Blair. It's called Venetian Man Walking, and Jason is from Jackson Heights, New York, and this is part of the 27. I love that image.
I do too, and it's the shape of the man that makes the
Yeah,
picture.
I guess it is. Yeah, I didn't even thought about that. Yeah,
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 and it's the attitude.
yeah. That 1 foot up.
He caught him in mid-stride.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this image is by Jesse Swimley. Jesse lives in Caldwell, Idaho. It's called Sublimity, and it's part of the 27. We know that this is, she took an encaustic class from us, and this is an encaustic piece.
It's also cyanotype, right?
It is.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Yeah.
Encaustic cyanotype and inkjet print. So she's got all kinds of stuff going on here.
It's so creative and playful. I love it.
Very nice. So this is by Joe Fields. Joe lives in Tennessee, right? Nashville, Tennessee. And the title of this is Notes to the Universe. I love that title. And she's written a little piece about that.
In late November of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, weekly death toll with no vaccine yet available, and political turmoil in progress, I was taking a refuge walk in a nearby park and came upon this tree with notes tied to its branches that were fluttering in the breeze. The notes were tied with fraying threads, some barely hanging onto broken twigs, and the trees were bare and cold. However, the notes had writing in silver metallic Sharpie, in quotes, "Thank you for being so," end quote. I wondered who had tied these to the tree and what motivated them to do so. This random act of kindness seemed to respond with gratitude for others in times of great loss. Although it was just a couple of small notes, once read and known, the vibrations rippled across the expanse of space with hope. In reciprocity, I felt that the universe, in all its chaos and immensity, had presented me with this small, intimate, anonymous scene. I was meant to find it, interpret it photographically, and learn from it. Wonderful.
That's great, Joe.
Joe's got a real kind of Zen way of looking at the world, taking a photograph. Yeah.
I wish she would have been here to read or to just talk about it.
Yeah.
She's very animated. She's just a lot of fun to be around. She's visited us a couple of times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my turn again.
It's your turn. Okay, this image is by John Dykehouse. John is from Lansing, Michigan, and this is called Wheels of Progress Turn Slowly.
I just love this image for the color.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's just in your face. Wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. It's composed
Yeah, it's
nicely.
very, very nicely.
This is Kathy Fawcett. Kathy lives in Monahans, Texas, which is probably where this was taken.
Yeah.
There's sandhills right near there. This is called Dissonance, and it's part of the 27.
It's just a really well done photograph.
Yeah, it is. She was there just the right time.
She photographs this quite frequently. She knows that sand very intimately, and it shows.
Yeah. So this is an image by Kevin Lyle. It's called Troubles My Sleep 20380. It's part of the 27. Kevin lives in Chicago, Illinois. So look at this close.
Yeah,
this was a diptych.
Yeah, when I was going through the images originally, I didn't like this image, and I passed it by 2 or 3 times until I discovered that it was a diptych. And then it's like, wow, this is really good. It's really, really nice. Really well done image.
Yeah. He's really good at diptychs.
Yeah.
This is by Lori Peak. Lori lives in Tappan, New York. And this is called For Johnny. And it's part of the 27. And she wrote a really sweet piece about it.
My recent In Lieu of Flowers series of multi-layered photographs of floral elements is dedicated to my son, Jackson Turner, and other individuals I've known whose funerals I couldn't attend. And my work is for all those who've suffered a similar loss, especially in these COVID times. With this memorializing project, I draw on my longtime fascination with layers, abstraction, ambiguity, and plants. The images themselves are digital composites printed as pigment prints on semi-translucent vellum, hand applying gold and silver metallic leaf gilding to the back of the prints, creating a shimmering glow evocative of sacred art. Methodically rubbing the gilding into the vellum and varnishing the finished results reconnects me to the craft of film photography and makes each print unique. Immersion in creating this tribute work with its acknowledgement of past significant relationships and the grief of losing my son has been healing. Wow, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this whole series that she has going is really beautiful. Yeah. Okay. We've got, I think, 3 images here, if I'm right, by Lawrence Manning. Lawrence lives in Napa, Idaho. This particular one is called Days Gaze.
I just really like the play of this larger crow with this fellow sitting over here on the fence. There's like a dialogue, some kind of spiritual dialogue going on there.
Lawrence has a thing about crows.
Lawrence is really good with crows.
So this particular one is called, oh boy, which one is it? Drive.
And I got to say, this is just a beautiful image. I love this. It's really, really wonderful.
We just talked to him not too long ago. I think he was surprised that you picked this.
Yeah, the tonality of it, the colors, the blur, everything about it I like. The composition.
And this is called Oh No.
And again, I really like the way that Lawrence is introducing other figures into his imagery and the way that they play off of his crow motif. This is well done.
This image is by Leah Oates. Leah lives in Toronto, Canada. And the title of this image is Brooklyn, New York, Prospect Park, number 20A. And she's got a whole series of similarly done images. She's got a little statement to go with it.
Okay. The Transitory Space series deals with urban and natural locations that are transforming due to the passage of time, altered natural conditions, and a continual human imprint. This series articulates fluctuation in the photographic image and captures movements through time, perception, and space. Transitory spaces have a messy human energy that is perpetually in the present, yet continually altering. They are endlessly interesting, alive places where there's a great deal of beauty and fragility. They are temporary monuments to the ephemeral nature of existence. Wow, what a wonderful statement.
Yeah, for sure.
So I really love the color, first of all, and I love the kind of X-ray quality of all of this. What's that?
It's reversed.
What's the the kind of camera that reacts to heat? It's a
infrared.
Infrared. It has an infrared quality to it, and which I think is interesting. But what really attracted me was the fact that it's a triptych.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. That it's a she, right?
Yeah.
That she thought to do that.
Yeah. Okay. This is an image by Leah Trivett. Leah lives in Johnson City, Tennessee, our sister city. It's called Flowers Become Her.
Just a really well done piece.
It is a self-portrait.
Very nice.
Yeah, she does really well with
She's
lots of
She's
flowers.
doing really well, period. She's got a tremendous amount of recognition
Yeah,
lately.
she's teaching Zoom classes for Santa Fe workshops
Yeah.
about, I forgot what it's about. It's about creativity with flowers,
I think she's
basically.
doing portrait classes.
And portraits too?
I think.
Okay, so the next three images are by Lee Smith, and Lee lives in Darien, Connecticut. He let's see, well, he's got a statement here about this right there, Kevin.
These images are part of his work in progress series, Plainly in Sight. His initial inspiration for the series came from the muted tones found in the image of the early pictorialist photographers. But instead of documenting the world of street scenes and landscapes as they did, he chose to look inwardly to his surroundings and photograph the simple, plain, overlooked compositions of everyday beauty. Lee was somehow in the film industry, but he has transitioned really wonderfully into fine art photography. He's done a really wonderful job.
So the title of this one is Chair, and it is part of the 27. And this one, the title is The Sea Captain's House.
They're all just really nice images.
And they've got this quietness about them that's really wonderful. This is called Vase.
Very nice.
All right. This image got the Director's Award. It's by Lisa Arms, and she's got something written about hers too. The title of it is Between Heaven and Earth 2. It did get the Director's Award, and it's part of the 27.
In this work, I wish to reinterpret the landscape of the natural world as a reflection of my inner self. Dualities of creation and destruction, illusion and reality exist in nature and within us. I represent my experience of nature as a beautiful, saturated, and complex reverie, a fantastical garden in which we're both caretakers and destroyers. By combining images of nature, sky, and earth, a new reality is conjured, one that evokes the idea of a paradise lost. Our increasing disconnection from sensory experience of the natural world, as well as the destruction of our environment, disappearing biodiversity, and diminishing wild space.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So this is a whole series. They're all diptychs, and they're all similarly constructed.
It's a really well done diptych. Diptychs are not easy to do.
No, they're not.
She did a really great job on this one.
Yeah.
And who's the director that chose it?
The director that chose it? That would be me. I chose it.
Good job.
I did that. So this image is by Liz Strauss. It is called Magic Hedge Morning. Liz lives in Chicago, Illinois, and she has a really nice little statement about her magic hedge.
Magic Hedge is a sanctuary and flyover for migrating birds on the Chicago lakefront. When the pandemic lockdown was loosened, this was the first place I went for sky, lake, nature, and winged creatures. I like to put myself in a place that I find interesting and wait for something to happen. The red-winged blackbirds welcomed me back to their sanctuary that July morning in 2020. Thanks very much. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, got a nice free
It does.
feel about it.
It very much reflects her statement.
So now we have an image by Marilyn Canning. It's called Contemplation Number 1. It is part of the 27. Marilyn lives in Chicago, Illinois.
This image, I passed it up a couple of times in the beginning, and then I found this fellow right here, and I thought, wow, it's just wonderful. This classical, apparently classical, part of a classical statue or something. And then you've got Herbert or whoever this is lurking over here. And I thought that was wonderful.
Herbert.
Good job.
Okay. This image is by Mark Collins. Mark lives in Dallas. It's called Blood Moon with Neon, and it's part of the 27. So Mark's been submitting for years and years and years and years and years, forever, since the beginning. So it's always nice to have an image by Mark.
Yeah. I love this image. It's theatrical.
It is. Yes.
that's a double entendre in there too, right? That is a theater, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Okay, so this is by Mark Taylor. It's called Carry Out, and it's part of the 27. Mark lives in Asheville, North Carolina.
And I just think this is a wonderful photograph, and I especially like it because it's got that old hand colored look.
Yeah, I think it is
Yeah,
an old hand color.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So this is Marky Kaufman. It's part of her dressings project. This image is. It's called Little Spot's Dress. Marky lives in Shirley Center, Massachusetts, and she has a nice statement about that.
What does it mean to identify as female? How do you recognize a female? In Michelle Tolini Fenimore's essay, A Curator's Perspective from the exhibit Gender Bending Fashion, she states clothing serves as a primary means of nonverbal communication, signifying identity. Donning the dress identifies us as females. I'm reclaiming the dress like women, attending the 2017 women's marches, took back the color pink by wearing pussy hats. I'm reclaiming the dress, which can be seen as a symbol of female objectification. My dresses have become metaphors for all that I love about identifying as female. Wow.
So these are chemograms. This is something she does in the darkroom, kind of basically mishandling the chemicals. And they're amazing to me. She's got a huge body of work of these dresses. I think they're just amazing.
Well, what's so incredible to me is how deliberate she's been in here with what she's done. I mean, these are just really well done.
Yeah. Yeah,
really
they're
well
very
done.
nicely done. So this image is by Matthew Derazinski. Matthew lives in Kingsville, Missouri. The title of this is Forgotten Day, and it is part of the 27.
And I'm especially drawn to this because for me, it's like a well-done illustration for a book I'd like to read.
Okay. Okay, so we have a couple of images here by Michael Johnson. Michael lives in Huntington, New York, and this particular one is called Porch View.
And who couldn't like this? I mean, it's just so evocative in so many ways. It's a wonderful image. The perspective is great. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that's really cool about it, and this is just, I mean, he had nothing to do with this, but it worked so well. I mean, these look like Christmas trees
Yeah, they
over
do.
here, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I thought was really cool is how there's all this light back in this particular area right here, which I think if you took that out, it'd be a much lesser photograph.
Absolutely. What I think is cool is the way that the power lines come down, and then the street kind of
you got these leading lines over this way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well done.
And then next we have another one by Michael. It's called The Rink, Rockefeller Center. And I'm pretty sure that one's in the 27, although I did not write it down. But I think it is.
I just like this image. I think it's jaunty.
Jaunty?
It should be titled The Proud Skater. I love it. Look at that. Look at the attitude of that character.
Yeah. And that hat.
And the composition is very nice too. Yeah, good hat.
Okay, this image is it's called Margarita, and it's by a pair of photographers that live in, hang on, in Czechoslovakia. They're in Prague, right? So we talked to them, and it's a husband and wife team. And how do you say their name? I'm gonna let you do it, Kevin. Their last name is
Boguzak.
Yes, the Boguzaks.
And we had a really nice conversation with them, and I mean, they're really taking a lot of time, and there's a lot of thought and effort put into the composition of these works. And I think for me on this particular image, it's this organic matter here, or what it looks like organic.
Sand dunes.
Yeah, right.
It starts with sand dunes.
Right, which is what drew me to it. Because you have this pretty straight abstraction over here. And then it leads into these organic shapes, and I thought that was interesting.
Hey, this is by Nadine Gokson. She's got 2 images in here. Nadine lives in White Plains, New York. This particular one is called Nurdane, and that's her mom. Did you tell
It could be. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Yeah. Nice shot.
Yeah, it's
just-
beautiful.
just
The
a very
stripes
nice-
and the
yeah,
stripes, and yeah, it all works.
Very nice shot.
And this one, oh boy, is part of the 27. And how do you? I assume that's a plant name.
Yeah, Sterilitia.
Okay, what is that?
I used to know. I don't remember now.
Some kind of a palm thing
Yeah,
or something?
Yeah, it's kind of something with a big leaf.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful. I mean, the black and white.
Yeah, it's like a charcoal drawing.
Yeah, it is. Very nice. Ah, here we have an image by Polly Mills Whitehorn. This particular image, Kevin gave the Jurors Award to. It's called Yocelin With Sunflower. And you want to talk about it?
It's just beautiful. I mean, that painterly quality, they're just really, really well done. The colors the color choices are really, really nice too.
Yeah. You want to read that? Or
Yeah.
you want to go to the next one?
Yocelin With Sunflower. Let's show the next one first.
Okay.
And this is just really well done also.
So this is Mauricio seated on a chair.
But she says, Yocelin With Sunflower and Mauricio seated in a chair are included in a body of work I call My Sensual Dreams. The catalyst for this project was a workshop I took in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico last fall with Elizabeth Opelinick. This was the first time I worked with nude and semi-nude models. I was concerned the nudity and sometimes the language barrier would inhibit my creative spirit. I was surprised at how comfortable I was. I look forward to returning to San Miguel and expanding this project. Okay.
Yeah, these are both beautiful.
And the rug and the textures and the walls, it just all worked really well.
Yeah, the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good, Polly. Polly and I just spent a day together
You did.
learning leafing. A morning anyway. Yeah, it was cool. So this image is by Robin Boger. And the title of it is Herding Fish. I just love that title, Robin. Robin lives in, I'll find it in a minute, Newton, Massachusetts. And she wrote a little bit about it. Right there, Kevin. That little statement.
Combining her poetry with her photography, Robin Boger invites the viewer to more deeply share the experience and awareness of being that led to the creation of the image. Robin is a very special individual. She has a real gift for words, for poetry, and she has the most beautiful delivery and voice. And just what's so fantastic about what Robin does is she takes these seemingly a little bit mundane photographs, although they're not really, and you discover that, but you discover it through her words. I mean, she just, when she reads her poetry along with her images, it just completely transforms the moment and the image, and it's really, really special. And this is an example. I wish we had her citing a poem along with this
Let me
image.
make sure I don't have that.
Okay.
Oh, I do. I do. No, you have to say it just like Robin. Right there. Little bitty print.
Okay. She calls this one Herding Fish. They menace, those hanging fish, glistening like flies in the sun. But the cowboy watching them won't be driving cattle to Kansas. There are no open ranges near this eye blink of a village. Only trees and Lake Shikutsu. Samurai, cowboy, or both? This hero is without borders. Legends give us permission to dream.
That's great.
She's great.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Ronald Butler. Ronald Butler lives in New York. He likes wet plate collodion. This is part of the 27. It's called Fraudian Board Meeting. Don't you love that title?
Uh-huh.
I mean, look at that. That's just a great title for this.
Ronald's got a real cool way of looking at the world, and it shows in his photography. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
This image is by there it is. Sarah Jane Berg. Sarah Jane lives in Plymouth, Minnesota. And this image, see, she wrote something about it here, Kevin. You can read that. And this is part of the 27. The title is Still Life with Beans, #1.
My image, Still Life with Beans #1, was first a digital photograph. It was changed into a film positive that's a UV sensitive polymer plate. 2 plates were made for this image. One was blank for the background and then inked and printed. The second plate with the image, which was inked and placed over the background, print and printed. Using 2 plates allowed for more variability in printing, each print being the same, but different by how the plates were wiped. Yeah, very good. I would assume those are what were we? The printing process.
Photogravures?
Photogravures, yeah.
Okay.
Man.
I love the way that the scratchy marks are,
Yeah.
like they're moving.
Yeah, she did that on that one plate and then the image on the other, which is a really nice way to do that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Very nice.
We have a press and a photo unit. We were gonna have photogravure workshops, but COVID kind of
didn't work out.
Yeah. Put the kibosh to that.
Okay. So these images, there's a couple of them by Suzanne Theodora White. She lives in somewhere in Maine, in Appleton, Maine, where it's very cold. And this is called Hanging by a Thread. It's part of the 27.
And she's just fascinating. She makes these little installations that then she shoots, that she photographs. But she's also a painter. She's an artist. So for me as an artist and a painter, what's so compelling is the mark making that she does on these backgrounds. I mean, it's just really fascinating. And she definitely is making a statement about the environment. She's very concerned about the state of things right now.
She lives on what was a sheep farm. They've sold all the whole flock, but she walks the property a lot and collects things, and that's what she photographs.
The rocks, everything is from the property, and she has a very strong connection to that property.
Yeah.
And she's a very interesting person to talk to.
And one more about her. This is untitled.
And then also as a part of this project, she's taken prints and she's crumpled them up and added them into the installations.
Yeah.
But it's just for me, it's just so fascinating because of all the work that she's done in the background. There's just so much going on back there. Really, really well done.
Yeah, nicely done. This is by Ursula Ferrara. Ursula lives in Pisa, Italy. She's Italian. So she's got 2 images in here. This particular one is called the Witch Pot series, My Land, and it is part of the 27. And she wrote a little thing, and it's in a little print too. I'm sorry, Kevin.
The Witch Pot. I started from the primordial chemistry, creating a primordial soup in which I put my photos after the shooting. I mixed the 4 elements, air, water, fire, earth, with nitrogenous slag, seawater, and crude oil, leaving the pictures there for days, exposed to wind and rain, that created unexpected effects on the surface of self-made, built ultra-large format analog camera plates, I think is what she's trying to say. 16 by 20 inch in direct positive black and white Harman paper, 16 by 20. Already contained unpredictable aspects. It was a journey from an intact photo to a corrupted in chemistry and luck. Just as people and things are changed by anything that happens in their life, being it time or chemistry or luck. Very cool.
Yeah.
Just what links she went to, the process that she went to achieve that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And the effect is great.
So we have another one. of hers. This is called the Witch Pot series, The Lady of the Theater. I mean, I love the Witch Pot series.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that she was Italian, but this almost looks like some of those deteriorating frescoes on the walls
Oh, it does,
in
doesn't it?
Pompeii or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. And last but not least, we have Wayne Thomas here. Wayne is another resident of Nashville, Tennessee, along with Joe Fields. And Wayne, this is called Until Next Year. And he wrote a little statement about that too.
We will be doing that's us.
No, right here, Kevin.
The original Terlingua International Championship Chili Cook-Off happens the first weekend in November every year. I was down in Terlingua this past July for an astrophotography workshop and happened upon this permanent ticket booth at the entrance of the grounds where the annual cook-off is held. I went to West Texas for the night sky, but found the daytime sky pretty interesting as well. Yeah, I'm a Texan. And I love chili, and I have a connection to this. And then there's the peace sign over here, which is great, and it's just a really nice photograph.
Yeah, Terlingua is kind of an interesting
Terlingua is a very
place,
interesting place. If you haven't been there, you need to go.
Yeah, go to the general store and have a beer.
Is that it?
I think that's it. It's the last one, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
thanks for everything. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
It's been fun.
We appreciate all the support of the gallery and listen to us blather on.
Yes,
Well, until next
all
time,
right. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
adios.